They believed they had you cornered, trapped in a maze of their own design. But what they failed to see was that you had already mapped the exit long before they laid the first brick. You had chosen a different path, not one of retreat, but of revelation. No longer would you shrink to fit the mold they pressed upon you. No longer would you silence the symphony of your soul to appease their insecurities. You embraced the power within, a fire that burned not to destroy, but to illuminate. And in doing so, you transformed the game entirely, making it yours to command. That choice you made set off a chain reaction, rippling through dimensions they couldn't even perceive. What they thought was their carefully laid plan has unraveled into chaos, not by chance, but by your quiet, deliberate design. Pay attention now, for the tides are shifting in your favor. While they've busied themselves weaving fragile webs of deceit, you've been building an empire of resilience, brick by unshakable brick. They've been speaking in hushed tones, plotting in the shallow depths of their own limitations, but you've been speaking to the universe, crafting a narrative so vast and intricate it eclipses their petty ambitions. They thought they were trapping you, but in truth, you've turned their every move into a step toward their own collapse. The cracks in their facade became apparent the moment they launched their assault, their moves clumsy and riddled with fear. What they thought was your surrender was, in truth, you laying the groundwork for their unmasking. Every insult they hurled, every scheme they orchestrated, every thread of deceit they spun was methodically recorded, not just by you, but by the unseen forces aligning in your favor. What they failed to understand was that their every action was a confession, revealing the very shadows they tried so desperately to hide in. You weren't just enduring their attacks, you were quietly turning their weapons into evidence, preparing for the moment when their own misdeeds would become their undoing. And this is where everything changed. Instead of sinking to their level, you chose to rise above it, wielding a power they could neither predict nor understand. You met their malice with unwavering truth, their schemes with unshakable integrity, and their chaos with the calm certainty of someone aligned with a greater purpose. This choice didn't just shield you, it amplified you. It awakened dormant forces, unseen allies, and ancient energies that had been waiting for your signal. While they floundered in the confusion of their own making, your authenticity became a mirror, reflecting their darkness back at them, leaving them exposed and powerless against the light you now fully embraced. The unraveling continued with a momentum they couldn't control. One by one, the cracks in their alliance widened as others began to see the truth. What started as a single defection became a cascade as the light of your authenticity illuminated the shadows they had carefully cultivated. Allies they once relied on began to question, to doubt, and eventually to walk away, drawn instead to the quiet strength and clarity you exuded. This wasn't mere coincidence. It was the intricate choreography of a universe aligning in your favor. Every step they took to dismantle you became another thread in the web of their own undoing as the chessboard shifted entirely out of their grasp. Their arrogance blinded them to the forces quietly gathering in your corner. Believing you to be defenseless, they overplayed their hand, their escalating attacks betraying their desperation. But what they failed to understand was that every move they made was shining a brighter light on their true intentions. Their aggression became their undoing, drawing the focus of someone who not only possessed real authority, but also carried the wisdom to discern truth from lies. This unexpected ally, silent until now, stepped forward, not in haste, but with the deliberate precision of someone who had seen enough. Their intervention was not just a shield for you, but a signal to your enemies that their time of unchecked power was coming to an end. With a calm yet commanding presence, the observer stepped into the fray, their actions swift and decisive. Unlike your enemies, whose moves were driven by fear and ego, this figure operated from a place of clarity and purpose. They saw through the layers of deceit and manipulation, recognizing the deeper spiritual imbalance at play. Their intervention was not merely an act of justice, but a correction of the cosmic scales. By exposing the truth and holding your attackers accountable, they dismantled the illusion your enemies had built around themselves. In that moment, it became clear this was not just about defending you, it was about restoring balance to a narrative that had veered too far into darkness. The inquiry unfolded like a steady drumbeat, revealing layer after layer of hidden truths. What your enemies had assumed were their carefully concealed secrets became glaring evidence of their intentions. Their web of lies unraveled with each uncovered document, each corroborated testimony, and each undeniable fact. The narrative they had so meticulously crafted to present themselves as victims was shattered, replaced by the undeniable reality of their schemes. The very tools they had wielded against you became instruments of their downfall, as the investigation illuminated not only their actions, but the motivations behind them. With every revelation, their facade crumbled, leaving them exposed to a truth they could no longer escape. The revelation was as damning as it was illuminating. Their entire campaign, cloaked in the pretense of moral outrage, was nothing more than a desperate attempt to mask their own inadequacies. It wasn't your actions that had provoked them, but the reflection of their own shortcomings in your success. Every attack they launched, every lie they spread, was rooted in their inability to reconcile with the fact that you had achieved what they never could. Their jealousy, festering in the shadows, had consumed them, driving them to tear down what they could never build. And now, with their true motives laid bare, the emptiness of their crusade was impossible to ignore, leaving them exposed not only to the world, but to themselves. The collapse began with a quiet but undeniable shift. The moment their strongest ally saw the truth, the foundation of their campaign began to crumble. The carefully constructed facade of independent convictions and righteous outrage disintegrated in the face of undeniable proof. Texts and emails, once hidden in the shadows, now acted as damning witnesses, exposing the intricate web of deceit they had spun. The supporter, once their loudest advocate, withdrew in silence, the weight of betrayal evident in their retreat. And with their credibility shattered, the remaining pieces of their scheme began to topple, one by one, as the truth spread like wildfire, consuming everything they had built on lies. The tide turned swiftly, as voices previously silenced by fear or doubt began to speak up, unraveling the lies with stories rooted in truth. Those who had once stood behind the attackers, emboldened by their charismatic deception, began to step back, their confidence eroding under the weight of mounting evidence. The most striking transformation came from their staunchest ally, whose retreat from the fray signaled something deeper than mere disillusionment. It was the quiet yet profound realization that they had been used as a pawn in a scheme that betrayed their own principles. Their withdrawal wasn't just a rejection of the campaign, it was a silent apology, a recognition of the harm they had unwittingly enabled, and a step toward restoring their own integrity. The defection ignited a fury within your enemy that stripped away the last remnants of their facade. What followed was not a measured response or an attempt to salvage their credibility, but an unrelenting assault on their former ally. Their words, once calculated and persuasive, devolved into desperate accusations and personal attacks, revealing a level of vindictiveness that stunned even their most ardent supporters. This betrayal of their own exposed a chilling truth. Loyalty was meaningless to them, a disposable tool to be wielded and discarded when inconvenient. In their frantic attempt to protect their crumbling narrative, they alienated the very people they relied on, leaving themselves isolated, their true nature laid bare for all to see. The unraveling continued as the investigation shifted focus, revealing a pattern of manipulation and misconduct that had long been hidden beneath their veneer of righteousness. What was meant to be your reckoning became theirs, as every claim they made was dissected and found to be riddled with inconsistencies and ulterior motives. Colleagues who once sympathized with their grievances began to see the cracks in their stories, questioning the true intent behind their actions. Supervisors, armed with mounting evidence, uncovered a history of calculated deceit and exploitation, painting a damning picture of their character. The tables had turned, and now it was their integrity, not yours, under the harsh light of scrutiny, leaving them cornered by the very investigation they had set into motion. As the truth emerged, the weight of their accusations crumbled under the sheer force of facts. Each claim they hurled was systematically dismantled, exposing not just their falsehoods, but the hypocrisy at the core of their crusade. Witnesses they once paraded as allies began to recant, their testimonies laced with admissions of coercion and doubt. The documents they cited, held up as cornerstones of their narrative, either vanished into thin air or betrayed them with truths that contradicted their assertions. With every unraveling thread, it became clear that their campaign wasn't built on justice or principle, but on a fragile web of lies held together by manipulation and desperation. The turning point came when the investigation unearthed their secret cache of recordings, conversations and meetings captured without consent, a calculated betrayal of trust. What they had hoped would serve as ammunition against you became the very evidence that condemned them. This act of covert surveillance shattered any remaining credibility they clung to, crossing the line from unethical to outright unlawful. The revelation sent shockwaves through the organization, reframing them not as whistleblowers, but as perpetrators of a malicious scheme. In their relentless pursuit to undermine you, they had ensnared themselves in a legal and moral quagmire from which there was no escape. The air is thick with anticipation as the moment draws near, a pivotal turning point that will leave an indelible mark on everyone involved. The investigation's findings are no longer whispers, but a thunderous truth, impossible to ignore. The decision-makers, armed with irrefutable evidence, stand ready to dismantle the old order and establish a new precedent. The meeting, meticulously planned and unyielding in its purpose, will serve as the stage for a reckoning that will reshape alliances, authority, and trust. Those who once wielded unchecked power will face the weight of accountability, and the ripples of this moment will echo far beyond the walls where it unfolds. They will enter the room with a false sense of confidence, clutching their rehearsed defenses and clinging to the illusion of control they have so desperately maintained. Their eyes will scan the room, searching for signs of support, unaware that the foundation of their narrative has already crumbled beneath them. What awaits is not the vindication they imagined, but an unrelenting confrontation with the truth they worked so hard to obscure. As the evidence is laid bare, their carefully crafted facade will fracture, leaving them exposed and vulnerable. The reckoning they had sought for you will become their undoing, a moment that dismantles their delusions and forces them to confront the consequences of their deceit. The case will unfold like the turning pages of a meticulously crafted book, each piece of evidence adding weight to the undeniable truth. Phone records will expose the intricate web of their coordination, revealing conversations laced with intent to harm. Email threads once hidden in secrecy will bring to light their calculated manipulation of events, carefully twisting facts to serve their agenda. Witness statements will pierce through their lies, offering first-hand accounts that dismantle their narrative. And then, the damning documentation of their illegal surveillance will emerge, the ultimate proof of their betrayal and disregard for both ethics and law. Together, these pieces will form a devastating portrait of their scheme, leaving no room for denial or escape. The climax will arrive with the unveiling of their own words, captured legally and played back for all to hear, a mirror held up to their darkest intentions. In those recordings, every denial will crumble as their true motivations are laid bare, exposing the schemes they swore they never orchestrated and the venom they tried to cloak in false civility. The room will fall silent, the weight of their malice hanging heavy in the air, more damning than any accusation. Even those who thought they knew the full extent of the betrayal will be stunned by the sheer depth of their deceit. The reckoning will be immediate, justice delivered with an unforgiving finality that leaves no doubt about the consequences of their actions. The final blow will come with the precision of a guillotine, swift and irreversible. Termination notices, each carrying the weight of their own downfall, will be delivered without hesitation, a tangible manifestation of long overdue justice. Access to privileged systems will be stripped away, their security clearances revoked as a symbol of trust forever broken. Their professional reputations, once carefully curated, will be tarnished beyond repair, ensuring they carry the scars of this reckoning into every future endeavor. Legal warnings will hang over them like storm clouds, a reminder that their actions will not go unanswered. In the span of a single afternoon, their ambitions, their influence, and their futures will be dismantled, leaving behind only the ruins of their misdeeds. The fallout will ripple far beyond their careers, unraveling the very fabric of the relationships they once relied upon. As the truth spreads, their carefully constructed web of alliances will begin to fray. Colleagues who once stood by them will quietly step away, unwilling to be associated with such disgrace. Friends, realizing they were pawns in a game of deception, will sever ties, their trust irreparably shattered. Even family members, blindsided by the revelations, will grapple with the sting of betrayal, questioning every story they were told. The isolation will be complete as the walls of their social support collapse under the weight of their own lies, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions alone. The unraveling of their facade will force them to confront truths that transcend logic, truths they once dismissed as mere superstition. Those who once admired their cunning now recoil, burdened by the realization that their trust was misplaced. In their desperation, they will lash out at forces they cannot comprehend, seeking to tarnish what radiates beyond their reach. Their envy will drive them to undermine what destiny has fortified, to challenge the harmony of what the universe has carefully aligned. Yet their efforts will falter, for the intangible forces they seek to defy are unyielding, impenetrable to the petty schemes of those who refuse to see beyond themselves. The retribution will unfold with an eerie precision, as if guided by forces beyond their comprehension. Doors they once assumed would remain open will slam shut without warning, leaving them stranded in a maze of missed chances. Trusted allies will withdraw in silence, their warmth replaced by an unspoken chill that cuts deeper than words. Plans meticulously crafted and ventures painstakingly built will begin to unravel in inexplicable ways, as though the very fabric of their ambitions is being undone. Each loss will feel like a hand of fate intervening, reminding them that no amount of power or control can shield them from the consequences of their actions. The weight of their own actions will boomerang back with a force they never anticipated, each wave of negativity compounding upon the last. As they spiral deeper into the chaos of their own creation, your path will shine brighter, propelled by an unstoppable momentum fueled by resilience and purpose. Their attempts to hinder your progress will only serve to strengthen your rise, as the energy they expend against you transforms into opportunities in your favor. For every setback they encounter, you will find doors of possibility opening effortlessly, as if the universe itself is conspiring to elevate you while leaving them to face the storm of their own making. With every misstep they take, the balance of power shifts further in your favor. What slips through their grasp flows effortlessly into your sphere, as though guided by an unseen hand ensuring justice. Those who once stood by their side now rally to your cause, drawn by the undeniable alignment of your purpose with forces far greater than any individual. The universe is no longer subtle in its intentions. It broadcasts its will with undeniable clarity, stripping away any doubt of where its favor lies. They will come to realize too late that their opposition was not against an ordinary individual, but against someone upheld by forces they could neither see nor comprehend, driven by a purpose they were never meant to obstruct. Their every move, once carried out in secrecy, will be laid bare under a light they cannot escape, their hidden eyes watched by unseen sentinels, they never anticipated. The intricate web of their schemes, so carefully constructed, will unravel with a precision that leaves no trace of their efforts but failure. As the final chapter of their campaign is written, the tables will turn with a swiftness that leaves them reeling. Stripped of their influence, they will find themselves standing in the ruins of their own making, cut off from opportunity, shunned by the very networks they relied upon, and drained of the spirit that once fueled their ambitions. The void left behind will serve as a testament to the forces they underestimated and the battle they were destined to lose. You will rise to heights that surpass anything you once envisioned, fortified by the strength and wisdom gained from the challenges you've overcome. The trials that once sought to break you have instead refined you, unlocking dormant potential and revealing a deeper, unshakable resilience. The energy you now exude is transformative, a beacon of balance and renewal that dissolves negativity before it can take root. Those who cross your path are drawn not just to your success, but to the quiet power of someone who has faced the storm and emerged unscathed, carrying an air of authority and grace that commands admiration without a word. Your very existence now radiates a transformative energy, uplifting those around you while creating an invisible shield that deflects ill intent. The healing you embody is no longer confined to your own journey. It flows outward, mending fractures that have lingered across generations, restoring balance where there was once chaos. Through your unwavering resilience and refusal to succumb to adversity, you have shattered cycles of limitation that once bound your lineage. What was once a story of struggle has become a legacy of strength, rewriting the narrative for those who came before you and those who will follow in your footsteps. Through your triumph, the weight of ancestral burdens has been lifted, and the spiritual debts once owed have been settled in full. The healing you've achieved has opened the floodgates for blessings long delayed, allowing them to pour through you as a purified vessel. Your prosperity is no longer bound by earthly limitations. It is infused with divine alignment, arriving effortlessly and expanding in ways that seem almost miraculous. Every resource that comes your way carries a sense of purpose and intention, amplifying your ability to create, inspire, and uplift. You have become a living testament to the power of breaking cycles, where abundance flows not just to you, but through you, touching everyone in its path. Every step you take feels aligned with a higher purpose, as if the universe itself is conspiring in your favor. The opportunities that come your way feel like perfectly timed gifts, each one tailored to match your growth and vision. Every resource you acquire carries the unmistakable energy of abundance and affirmation, a reminder of your deep connection to the flow of universal support. Your surroundings now mirror the inner transformation you've undergone. Spaces once ordinary now radiate harmony, beauty, and intention, reflecting the elevated vibration you bring into every aspect of your life. Everywhere you go, the energy seems to shift, growing lighter and more harmonious in your wake. The spaces you enter feel infused with calm and clarity, as if your presence alone brings balance and renewal. The objects you interact with seem to carry a lingering glow, holding the imprint of your elevated frequency. Even the people around you can't help but notice the subtle yet profound changes. Places feel brighter, conversations flow easier, and inspiration sparks effortlessly. You have become a walking source of transformation, a living reminder that healing and growth ripple far beyond the self. Your relationship with conflict has undergone a profound transformation, becoming a gateway to growth rather than a source of fear. What once felt like chaos or resistance now appears as purposeful lessons, carefully crafted to uncover the depths of your strength. Confrontation no longer intimidates you. Instead, it excites you as you see it for what it truly is, a divine invitation to unlock hidden reserves of wisdom and power. Each challenge is a stage for you to step into your evolving potential, revealing abilities you never imagined, and affirming the unshakable confidence that now defines you. Every challenge disguised as an adversary now serves as a teacher, sharpening your resilience and revealing strengths you never realized were within you. The energy around you has shifted so profoundly that those who once drained or diminished your light naturally drift away, unable to exist within the frequency you now embody. Without any need for confrontation, your space is protected as lower vibrations find themselves repelled by the radiant force of your growth. In their place, kindred spirits of higher vibrations are effortlessly drawn to you, creating a circle of connection and support that mirrors the elevated energy you've cultivated. This new community amplifies your journey, surrounding you with souls who inspire, uplift, and resonate with your truest self.